You just woke up. You're 35 years old. You're working a job you hate and barely have any money to your name. You get out of bed, look in the mirror, and for a second, you just stand there. Not because you're old. 35 isn't old, but because you're wondering where all time went. It feels like yesterday you were a teenager. You had your whole life ahead of you. You had plans, dreams, things you swore you'd do one day. Maybe you wanted to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you wanted to learn a skill, get in shape, travel somewhere, build a business. Doing something that made you excited to wake up in the morning. But then life happened, and you keep telling yourself the same thing: I'll do it later. And that's the lie that gets almost everyone. Not because later ever comes, but because later feels far away. When you're 16, a year sounds like forever. When you're 18, 5 years sounds like forever. When you're 20, 30 sounds ancient. But something weird happens. Time speeds up. The years stop feeling long. They start feeling short. You blink and summer's over. You blink and another school year is gone. You blink and you're celebrating another birthday. And eventually, you realize you've been waiting for the perfect time to start living, the perfect time to start working out, the perfect time to chase a goal, the perfect time to try something new, the perfect time to take a risk. But here's the problem: the perfect time doesn't exist. Most people think their future is built by big decisions. And sure, some of it is. But I think most of your future comes down from tiny choices that seem completely insignificant to the moment. One extra hour of scrolling, one extra day of procrastination, one more excuse, one more "I'll start tomorrow." And the scary thing is that none of those choices feel important. Nobody sits down and says, you know what, today I'm going to waste the next 10 years of my life. That's not how it happens. It's slow, it's comfortable, it's invisible. You waste a day, then another, until one day you realize you've been stuck in the same place for years. I think that's why the topic hits so hard for me, because we're young right now, and most of us don't realize how valuable that is. People always say young people waste their youth, but I don't think it means partying or playing video games. I think they mean wasting opportunities, wasting potential, wasting the time we will never get back. Because right now we have something that's incredibly rare. We have room to fail. We can try things, we can mess up, we can start over. Most adults will love to go back and have that freedom again. And yet, so many of us spend our time wishing we were older, wishing we had money, more freedom, more independence, without realizing that one day we'll wish we can come back to who we are right now. And that's kind of crazy when you think about it. One day, this moment will be the good old days. One day, you'll remember being a teenager. You'll remember your friends, your hobbies, the games you played, the things you laughed about, the dreams you had. And I think the goal isn't to become obsessed with productivity. You don't need to spend every second working. You don't need to become some self improvement robot. Life is supposed to be enjoyed, but there's a difference between enjoying your life and avoiding your life. A lot of people spend years distracting themselves because it's easier than confronting what they actually want. It's easier to scroll, it's easier to watch, easier to wait, but eventually the waiting catches up to you because every day that passes becomes a part of your story, whether you meant for it or not. So if you're watching this right now, I want you to think about something. Imagine you actually wake up at the age of 35. Imagine you're looking back at today, at this exact point in your life. What would future you wish you started? What would the future version of you regret never trying? What would the future version of you thank you for doing? Because one day, that future version of you is going to exist. And when that day comes, I hope you're able to look back and say you actually lived these years. Not that you watched them pass by, because at the end of the day, the biggest tragedy isn't getting older. It's realizing you never really used the time you had. So if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see y'all later.